Greetings. I'm speaking to you on the 2nd of September 2024, and it is the anniversary of the death of Viktor Frankl. Now, he left a legacy. We know that. But much of his legacy was simply by living a simple life and living life as he needed to do at the time. His legacy is somewhat accidental, and yet it has created a lot of things. I'll share with you for a moment what I found recently on Amazon, not so that you'll buy the book, but so that you're aware of all the things that are being written about meaning, that somehow or other people still believe that meaning in life is so important, and in fact have written books about how to find it. Where do I find this thing called meaning in life? Well, it's difficult, but it's also simple. Because essentially, we don't control life. Life fairly frequently happens to us, and we're challenged to respond to it. Frankl once said, "It's not important that you have to leave this life. It's more important that you have something to leave from." How to respond to life, how to make it happen, how to find that meaning. Read all those books, or simply understand that our real task is to widen the circle of understanding for others, to embrace all living creatures, as Einstein says, and the whole of nature and its beauty. And it's a wonderful message. As Frankl also said, it doesn't matter the radius of your circle. It matters how you decide to fill its space. That's how to make it happen. So if it's so simple, and there are so many books, why is Frankl not so famous? I'll let some others explain.
His writings in the United States are accessible to all people, both professionals and the public. And that's a problem because academics are a snobbish group. And he was very good at giving analogies, making things understandable. That was his problem. He made things too understandable, made things accessible to everybody. And you don't do that in academics. If everybody can understand it, if you don't have the exclusive key, then you move on. Logotherapy would have been more successful academically if more of his work was translated, and that academics could see the depths of his understanding.
Because of the European tradition and his own humility, he did not market himself appropriately. When he did Man's Search for Ultimate Meaning, I negotiated the contract with the publisher. What do I know about negotiating a contract with a publisher? And I told him that. He says, 9.9. He says, you do it. Okay. And in that way, even though people all over the world are using logotherapy concepts and techniques, 50, 60, 70 years after he put them out there, he doesn't often get the credit. We now have the positive psychology movement, which is deeply rooted in logotherapy. There's some behavior modification techniques that were introduced, for example, for sexual dysfunction, 40 years later by John Money at Hopkins, and he's talking about paradoxical intention, which Frankl talked about in the 20s. And things like that. But I think that hurt him in some ways in mainstream psychiatry because he did not get the credit he deserves. Now all these people are doing it, and he would be thrilled that they're doing it, and he could care less about the credit. But I would have liked to seen him get more of the credit.
So you see, it matters not the radius of our circle, but how we fill its space. And so each of us is challenged to do that as well as we can, realizing that we will leave a legacy. And in fact, Frankel's work, to me, is not simply something that happened in the last 70 or 80 years. It's really human wisdom that has been there for tens of thousands of years. The human spirit is native to humanity. And therefore, our challenge is simply to do our best, to live our life, to respond and to fill our circle as well as we can. And that's all. Thank you for listening.